Welcome to the Car Guy Show. Join award-winning automotive magazine publisher Tim Miller, along with his co-hosts, national champion race car driver Kristen Traeger, and country singer, songwriter, and driving instructor Luke Betchner as they travel the country looking at car life and car culture. Join us as we meet car guys in their cars, in their garages, at their clubs, and at their events. Come along for a real kick in the asphalt.
I'm your host, Tim Miller, and we're in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where over 8,000 Corvette owners have congregated for the 20th anniversary celebration at the National Corvette Museum. It's a week filled with festivities and activities here at the museum and also at the new track, which we will get on shortly. We'll tour the museum, and of course, we're going to meet with just a few of those 8,000 vet owners. So come with me. We got a lot to see and a lot to do. Well, we ran into a lovely couple here from our neck of the woods in Dallas, Dave and Janie, who caravanned earlier this week. Is this the first time you've been up to the museum?
It's the first time to the museum, first time to the track, first time for a caravan.
In the caravan, about how many Corvettes were in your group?
We left Los Angeles with about 180. We picked them up on the road, and when we got here yesterday, it was just over 500 in that group.
They break you up into groups, okay? So we were in group 7, which had, I think, 9 cars to start with. And we kind of lost a couple cars on the way, and we gained a car here and there, and it's all a lot of fun.
This year is the 20th anniversary of the museum, and we're hosting the 5th National Corvette Caravan. We only do caravans every 5 years, and that's where Corvettes will gather all over the country and travel in lines to come to Bowling Green, Kentucky to celebrate. We have about 8,000 guests pre-registered. We're expecting about 10,000 a day to attend. We have some that have come as far as Alaska and Canada, so it should be a really exciting event.
Oh, I think it's great. We've met a lot of great people, and it's very friendly people.
We're standing here with Lou, who's going to be doing some hot laps with some very lucky Corvette owners in one of his new cars.
Well, the car is a car we just got done building. It was a rush job. We haven't finished it, but we've got a supercharger, LG Motorsports cam, some suspension parts. We have a coil over package, our own sway bars. We have a significant transmission cooler setup because the paddle shift cars, when you go to the racetrack, they get a little hot. So we've solved all those problems, and this car right now, as it sits, has at the flywheel roughly 800 horsepower.
So it's easy, it's drivable, that you can take it to work and you can take it to the track the same day.
You'll never be late for work. The other thing that we're doing is we're giving hot laps. We're going to give the hot laps. People are signing up, and the money goes to charity, and then they get to ride with me, for 15 minutes in the car, and they pay money to a charity for that, which is pretty good. That's a good cause, and how does it get any better? More fun than anybody should be allowed to have, and the money goes to charity. How does it get better than that?
We're with Katie here at the National Corvette Museum, and we're in the infamous sinkhole that happened in February of this year.
Yeah, no one really expects to walk into work and find a giant hole in the middle of the building. We are in a karst area, which means we have a lot of caves. And we had a cave under the museum that we just didn't know about, and the roof of the cave collapsed. And in it were 8 Corvettes, 2 were on loan from General Motors, and 6 belonged to the museum. So we went through a several month-long process of retrieving the cars, putting the cars on display, and then hosting hordes of people that were coming just to see the sinkhole and the cars. In any case, we're going to try to at least have some kind of exhibit with a few of the cars as is, and sort of tell the story so for years to come people will remember what happened.
Hi, I'm Sonny. I'm from Belgium. We drove 5,500 miles to Bowling Green, and you're watching the Car Guy Show. We'll be right back.
We are in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Corvette assembly plant, where we're having the extraordinary opportunity of assembling an LT4 motor for the Corvette Z06.
Holding the red down, and when you start to see a little slack in the chain, push this forward and slide the whole mechanism back.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Today we had a pretty important announcement about the corporate sponsorship of the National Corvette Museum and the Motorsports Park. And we've had a tremendous amount of involvement with Corvette, from the factory fill on the Corvette production cars to the race team and now the Motorsports Park. So it was pretty exciting announcement today. We've got a couple of cars here that we have show cars that we put together with Jeff Nowicki and Michelin Tire and all these other companies, and we're gonna try to get some hot laps out there.
Head is heading on the roof. I gotta slouch down. Well, I got a little tire squeal that time. Well, actually very important as a Corvette owner to spend some time on the track with your vet.
Really happy to be part of this. It's kind of an extension of what we've been doing for many, many years with Corvette, whether it's the factory fill and the engines that you see here, or the Corvette racing team, which we've had an 18-year relationship with.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Bonnie from Michigan, and you are watching the Car Guy Show, and we'll be right back.
The Mercury Cougar. It's kind of a different car. It was originally designed to be a mid-level luxury car between the Ford Mustang and the Ford Thunderbird, but in the Mercury line. So the Ford guys took the Mustang platform, they extended it a little bit and changed the styling just a little bit, added some luxury items, and came out with the Cougar in 1967. It's funny because if you look at a Cougar, it really doesn't look like a Mustang. You know, some cars like the Camaro and Firebird that share the same platform, they look very similar, but I always thought the Cougars looked substantially different from the Mustang brothers. In fact, I think they only used the glass and that's about it on the outside. Underside, they're very similar to Mustangs, which means they've got a great potential for performance. So by 1969, Ford was selling under the Mercury name a bunch of different Cougars with performance packages like the XR7 and this week's muscle car of the week, the CJ428. The styling on the XR7 CJ428 is pretty unique. The XR7 was supposed to be more of a European version of the Cougar. These Cougar XR7s are really nice cars inside. I mean, the whole idea was kind of a Mercury Mustang. You know, it still shares a lot of the Mustang componentry, suspension and chassis, but they tuned it up to be a little more luxurious inside the car. So you've got these plush seats, you've got upgraded audio systems, air conditioning, you've got a console up here with some switches for all the lights. But this one's got the 428 Cobra Jet, so it performs like a Mustang, but just a lot more comfortably. The nose styling changed a little bit for 1969. There was a joke that the earlier cars with their vertical grille bars and hidden headlights looked like an electric shaver. In this case, they still have the hidden headlights, but now the trim goes horizontally instead of vertically. Around the back of the car, there's a really clean-looking, polished and chrome trim that surrounds the taillights, but the taillights still have the sequential function, which was kind of a Thunderbird thing that they incorporated into the Cougar. The XR7 Cobra Jet graphics package wasn't super
you know, in your face. There's hood pins on the nose. It's got a functional scoop, but it's body color, so it doesn't stand out quite that much. And a small stripe that says CJ428 for the Cobra Jet motor. So, you know, you could be an executive and kind of glide in under the radar with this car and not stand out. And one of the coolest things about this particular one is I'm pretty sure it's wearing almost all of its original paint. It's also riding on the styled steel 15-inch wheels. There's some chrome and polished stainless trim that goes around the wheel arches and across the rocker moldings, and there's an XR7 badge on the sail panel. But from the side, it almost looks just like a base model Cougar until you open the hood. The engine bay on this 428 Cobra Jet Cougar doesn't really look like a race car. It looks more like a luxury car because that's what it is, but there's still a good mix of stuff going on here. One thing that's pretty cool is the 428 Cobra Jet engine. This thing made 335 horsepower, 440 foot-pounds of torque. It's got a C6 automatic transmission behind it, so it's got plenty of oomph to fry the tires and make this car run really hard. It also has a flapper door on top of the air filter unit, and this scoop is functional. So when you step on the gas, the vacuum level changes, that door opens, and you get fresh air from outside the car. You know, kind of a race car thing. But then you've got air conditioning, you've got power brakes, you've got you know, all the creature comforts you could want at the same time. So this is a car you could drive every day and not get beat to death and still enjoy it. Some other interesting things are the hideaway headlights. These have a central vacuum motor that operates the flapper doors on those. So part of what you see here are vacuum lines that control that kind of stuff. So again, it looks more like a luxury car than a race car, but you step on the gas and it feels more like a race car than a luxury car. And I think they only made about 140 of these CJ428 Cougars. So it's not a car that's very common. So if you see one, take a minute to check it out because they didn't make very many. Now the paint on this particular car is far from perfect, but it's a survivor. This has been around for a long time and it shows the wear marks to prove it. The Brothers collection is full of muscle cars that are, you know, true definitions of the word, with Hemi cars, bright colors, you know, things that are just loud and obnoxious. But it's also cool to see that they have some of these understated, more subtle cars like the CJ428 Cougar. But at the same time, this is one that probably won a lot of stoplight races back in its day on the street. We've got some more detailed photos of this car on the website at musclecaroftheweek.com. And don't forget, we always put a teaser up on our Facebook page, so be sure you like Muscle Car of the Week and try and guess what next week's car is going to be. In the meantime, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Muscle Car of the Week.
Okay, so I'm with Wei Shin Chen right now, Chen Motorsports. If you can kind of ignore the beautiful cockpit of this McLaren 650S that we are in right now, he is going to tell us a little bit more about what Chen is and how did it get started.
Well, it got started basically from me buying a sports car, an Acura NSX.
Okay.
And after I owned the car about 2 weeks, I realized I didn't know how to drive it. It was way more car than I had skill for. And then I tried to find a driving school where I could take the car on the racetrack.
Right.
And there really wasn't anything out there. So as a result, I put together a team of instructors and friends that I knew that were in the racing business. And I said, can you set up something and we'll go out and teach people how to drive race cars. We basically take the racetrack as it is, which is pretty much bare, and then we put it together. We put a whole team of people together whose job is to organize the event, to hold it in such a way that everybody has a good time.
Right.
It's a driver organization. It's based after having drivers that are happy. One of the most important things about our company is that we are a driver organization. We are here only for one purpose, and that is to make our drivers happy. It is clear that you can have a low horsepower car that is driven by a capable driver turning faster laps than something with 700-800 horsepower.
Right.
So it's all about driver skill, and that's what we teach at our organization.
So we are here with JF Dumoulin and Mia's Motorsports. They are down from Canada this weekend. As you can see, Chin Motorsports brings a whole group of people from all over the world to these events. JF, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, we're here with the McLaren MP4 and a Porsche Cup. Two guys that run in Toronto all the time. We knew about Chin event, and obviously when we saw that date opening in COTA, everybody wanted to drive the F1 track.
Right.
So we knew that was a great opportunity for us because they run the show really well.
Right.
And we came down with a trailer. We drove all the way down here to be able to enjoy COTA and the people at Chin here.
The key thing for drivers that enjoy participating in our track events is they always have access to more track time. That is kind of our key, one of our high emphasis with kind of fewer, lower enrollment, fewer run groups, more time on track, more time to make laps than some other similar programs. We want to have a broad appeal where the people who own German or Italian sports cars and American sports cars and Japanese sports cars all feel like they've got a home at the track with Chin Motorsport.
All right, so Mark, we are at one very special track today. Let's go see what it is.
Excellent. I'm following you.
All right. Okay, so as you can see behind us, we are at Circuit of the Americas, the coolest track in the United States and one of your premier venues. Kind of tell us about this track and other ones that you visit.
Well, it is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. It is America's Formula One venue, and it's actually a pretty rare opportunity to get to do track days here for hobby enthusiasts. So this is a real pleasure for Chin Motorsports. But indeed, COTA is just one of a dozen different of the great American road courses on the Chin Motorsports calendar. Our whole calendar features all of the traditional best known road courses in America where you've been seeing professional sports car racing on TV for years.
Very cool. Well, wherever you may want to go, Chin Motorsports has you covered. Mark, thank you so much.
Luke, it's my pleasure, and I really appreciate the opportunity to say hello to you guys and to have you visit us with us at Circuit of the Americas today.
Likewise.
Wow, what a great day we had today in Bowling Green, Kentucky with a wonderful group of Corvette owners. They had about 8,000 owners here, along with their families, the Corvette clubs themselves, and of course, you can't miss the National Corvette Museum. What a great place to visit. Wonderful track, wonderful people. That's it from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.